I feel the best that I've ever felt about particularly fixing the FAA. And the reason is because Secretary Duffy is on it. He's an action-oriented. He wants to fix it. He's coming to Newark to help, and he is there to try to help and fix it. And we have the FAA Administrator appointee, Brian Bedford, who's run an airline, who knows how to do this stuff.
Do you think Congress will appropriate the necessary funds in the tens of billions to do this?
Yes, I do think Congress. I think that's what's unique now, because we have this moment where people recognize the need to give the U.S. a modern air traffic control infrastructure. It's in both the Senate, both the House, on both sides of the aisle. There's broad bipartisan support.
Newark was in a sense, the example, but how far was the Newark problems of evidence elsewhere from what you've seen? And maybe not as dramatically, but need of further investment, whether it's Chicago, Houston, the West.
Yeah, well, Newark has been in the news a lot,
right.
But the truth is that happens all around the system, and it's indicative of the need to get back to full staffing and to upgrade the infrastructure and the technology and the facilities at the FAA. And the truth is, it is safe all the time across the country. It was safe at Newark, it's safe everywhere. But we do deserve a modern infrastructure.
So the other issue that's big in the industry is consolidation of some description. It doesn't matter. And I have to say the JetBlue arrangement, the Blue
Sky. Consolidation.
No, but exactly, it's what it's not as much as what it is.
Yeah.
It's this hybrid where begs me people like myself to say, is this just a stepping stone to consolidation?
You know, I think this is really about both JetBlue and United trying to do something good for our customers. It's a brand I really respect in JetBlue. They have customer service at their core, at their DNA, but they're smaller. And partnering with United, lets our customers have access to JetBlue, but also gives the JetBlue customers access to the globe.
But the question everybody asks you, and I've read your answer about the amount of brain power and brain time it takes, is why not just do the merger?
Yeah, it really is complicated to do mergers, and we got so much exciting happening at United. JetBlue's got their own plan, but we got so much going at United. And when you do a merger, you've got to stop and you've got to integrate systems and labor contracts and cultures, and it is a lot of brain damage. It's complicated, and if you can do a deal where you get a lot of the customer benefits without having to go through all the pain of a merger, there's a lot to be said for that.
Are you seeing anything in the bookings or numbers that suggests a weakness with people avoiding traveling to the United States?
So we've seen a little bit of weakness from Canada and Europe, but it's single-digit percentage decline, so not material decline. But 82% of our bookings come from U.S. point of origin, and that's really been strong, and it's actually more than offsetting any weakness that we've seen on inbound traffic.
Really? So people are, the evidence is not there?
The evidence is not there. I think the consumer is a lot more resilient than perhaps the news headlines would suggest.
You did a very interesting thing with your last guidance, which no one really ever seen before, which made perfect sense.
Yeah.
You said, if this happens, this is our guidance.
Yeah.
If this happens, that's our guidance. So as we stand at the moment, which are you leaning more towards, the stability or the recessionary?
So bookings have remained stable.
Right, stable. That's
we would be leaning more towards the stability. We have had an impact from Newark, but absent that, it would certainly be leaning more towards the stable scenario.
You said about Newark that this might be the best time to get a good deal out of Newark.
Yeah. I'm not totally happy about that. But because we lost so many bookings because of this perception issue of Newark, and the reality is Newark is safe. Newark, and now the FAA has done what we've been asking them to do for a decade, and it's going to limit the operations to equal the capacity of the airport. It's going to be the most reliable airport in New York. It's going to be the least crowded, and because we lost bookings, it's likely to be the cheapest this summer that is going to be at any point in the future.
Is Starlink as good as they say?
It is. Starlink is going to be great. It's flying now.
And,
essentially everyone on the airplane can get on and can stream. I mean, it's got by far the most bandwidth, the lowest latency. It's going to be transformative for customers.